The details of my life are irrelevant. The details of what I do are irrelevant. It's the emotional state that I carry with me, and the emotional control, the sense of clarity, the freedom to think and feel. And granted, there are definitely environmental circumstances that I've navigated to that allow me to do that. But understanding that that's what I wanted to create in my life allowed me to navigate to these spaces. If you want to start connecting with your purpose, your reason, your value to exist, recognize first, get your breathing right. I always say get your breathing right first. That's the first way you're going to get it. And then pay attention. What's affecting your breathing? Find out what pace of breath you want to carry your whole life through. Like, think about the one breath that you're going to be able to sustain for the rest of your life. And then see how certain circumstances, situations, stimuli that you receive through your physical senses impact your breath and change your breath. And that's how you start understanding, getting into those micro levels of awareness of understanding, mental health issues, and also the panic of, I need to be productive and do something. No. Just take a moment. Just give yourself a moment.
He is Terry Sidhu, a renowned life coach in Canada. He has launched a meditation program called Infinite Life, along with a free online meditation course. And he is running development workshops, sustainable and independent mental health management through his keynote presentations. Let's welcome Terry Sidhu. Hi, Terry. Welcome to our motivational talk.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
In this pandemic situation, how can we think creatively?
How can we think creatively in this pandemic situation? Well, for the first time, or a rare opportunity in our lives, is we have the freedom just to go with whatever the body is feeling, to whatever our mind is. If we're tired, we sleep. Whenever we're awake and energy, we can create. I think one of the things that will stimulate a creative mind is just to really give in to the experience of life. Allow yourself to give in to your feelings and your emotions and everything that you're going through, to really understand and listen to the truth that your body is sending you, that life signals are sending you, as opposed to going through this thing of, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, be productive. Because a lot of individuals, and I myself in particular, I had no idea, what do I do in this isolated state? All I know how to do is meditate or do or offer support for clients. So it really forced me to pay attention to what my body needed, to what my mind wanted to do. And then I started getting into this phase of recovery. And that state of recovery meant, basically, I'll call it this conscious clarity. You get into this state where you're like, I'm alive. I could do all these things and try all these things. And then it just gives you the green light to do them. And that's it. Just listen to what your body is doing and your mind is telling you, and go for it.
Do you have any ideas and techniques that we can follow to listen our own body and own mind?
Absolutely. The very first thing you did the moment you were born was breathe. Breathing is probably the most crucial component towards having sustainable and healthy experience, especially during isolation. If you think of your breath as the force in which you're navigating your life through, and you are creating around that pace and that creation. So if your breath is really heightened and panicked, and then you're going to be creating that reality around you. If you have a sustainable, healthy, consciously controlled breath, then you'll be able to sail through a nice, healthy and sensible creation.
Is there any particular time or any situation we can do breathing exercise, or we can do it anytime?
I think if you're finding yourself in a situation where you feel as if you're restricted, where you feel as if that life is getting ahead of you and you're not in control, you feel as if that you don't know how to relinquish control, your mind is going into many different places, you should be consciously breathing whenever you feel as if you're out of control. I always say there's only two ways you can really want to operate in life. You want to just dive into the experience and have a subjective experience and just go in with whatever's going on. Or you can step out of that experience and really pay attention and assess and be in a very objective mindset. So it's just a matter of dancing between those two realms. Regain conscious control with breath if you want to just step out of the experience and take a good look around and see what's going on around you. Or if you feel comfortable to dive right into the experience, relinquish control and go on in.
At this time, people live in home. Many people, they don't have work to do. And people are influenced by many negative news. How can we control our life.
To control your life, or to kind of do something in this state, or to actually have some sense of life during this isolated state. I think it's one of those moments where I think for a lot of individuals who have been operating on these modes of I've got to do this and I've got to do this and work and money and responsibility and all of that now has been thrown out the window. What are we living for? What is the whole point of this? And that kind of mindset encourages us, and should be encouraging us, to be like, look inside, just stop and just take a good look around. Take a moment just to actually think about what it is you want to provide this world. I mean, you exist, you breathe. Just by breathing, you have incredible value. You bring prana into existence. You give life to the birds and the trees and everything around you, just as much as they offer life to you. It's this wonderful collaborative experience, I call it, life. And I think if we all start understanding that perspective and start gathering that perspective, we'll start realizing, hey, what can we do to actually contribute? What do I want to see in the world? What knowledge do I want to bring into this? What truths can I bring? We all have something to offer. And I think don't pressure yourself in terms of having to offer it. I think, if anything, you should start a journey of discovering what that is. Start looking on the internet for things that engage your mind. Find stories, even if there's conspiracies that you're curious about. Go have a look, dive right on in, go learn about who you are, and then start there.
It's true. Many people might have forgotten that why they are living. You told interesting thing. We need to find out what we are living for. How can we make people realize to recognize their purpose in life?
I think one of the things I realize, especially with coaching, is that there's nothing I can do, there's nothing anyone can do to help anyone else recognize their purpose. The only thing we can do is to live as an example. I do what I do, and when my clients, when they come to me, it's just because they're seeing what I'm doing. They're like, hey, that sounds like fun. What's your tricks? Why are you so happy and jolly all the time? I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing. The details of my life are irrelevant. The details of what I do are irrelevant. It's the emotional state that I carry with me, and the emotional control, the sense of clarity, the freedom to think and feel. And granted, there are definitely environmental circumstances that I've navigated to that allow me to do that. But understanding that that's what I wanted to create in my life allowed me to navigate to these spaces. What I understand, for if you want to start connecting with your purpose, your reason, your value to exist, recognize first, get your breathing right. I always say get your breathing right first. That's the first way you're going to get it. And then pay attention. What's affecting your breathing? Find out what pace of breath you want to carry your whole life through. Like, think about the one breath that you're going to be able to sustain for the rest of your life. And then see how certain circumstances, situations, stimuli that you receive through your physical senses impact your breath and change your breath. And that's how you start understanding, getting into those micro levels of awareness of understanding, mental health issues, and also the panic of, I need to be productive and do something. No. Just take a moment. Just give yourself a moment.
This time, many people are restricted inside their home and they cannot go outside in nature as well. Mm-hmm. And living alone is really boring. It is said that empty mind is devil's mind. And many people can fall in depression. How can we enjoy our life being alone?
Oh, there's so many. Do you know what? Really, all it comes down to is confidence, I think. What I've noticed, the first thing I did for the first probably week or two in my isolation, I was singing, I was dancing. I don't know how to sing. I barely know how to dance. And I started writing poems, and I just started being creative the best way I knew how. I mean, if you look at all the ancient stories, all the folk tales, I mean, I've got an Indian background, and I was taught many of the stories of ancient India, as well as all these stories from England. And you'll notice during the most difficult times, during the most enlightening times, but difficulty and enlightening, there was music, there was dance, there was celebration, there was joy, there was a lot of light. So create that for yourself. Everyone has an ability to just move their body and kind of get going. Everyone just wants to step out of that comfort zone. You're in your home, go for it. Step out of your comfort zone, be free, make it reflective of your space. You don't need to worry about nobody coming over. No one can. So it's all your space now. Your home is your stage. Take ownership of it.
That's interesting. And I have seen many people, they want to dance, they want to sing song, they want to play music, but they have low self-esteem. They think that other people will laugh when I dance. How can we encourage people just keep on dancing or keep on enjoying their life?
Very simple. Scale back. I do offer this advice in business too, because what happens, like this fear of failure and stuff like that as well, and fear of people saying this and what is it going to mean? Scale it back. Bring it to a point where, for example, when we think of dancing, when we think of singing, we're thinking of the top people. We're thinking of the best people who dance. We're thinking of the best singers in the world. And we're literally looking at that and we're setting that as the standard for music and dance or any creation. Even when we're thinking of business, we're thinking of that standard of business, right? But to get to that level, it started here. It started right at the bottom. So think about, okay, what your capabilities are, what you can do, what you can move, successfully go from one move to the other. Just master that process before going into this whole ensemble of choreography, for example. Just tiny little things, tiny little movements. And these tiny little accomplishments will get you to that point where you're like, I don't care anymore. I can do this. And before you know it, you've scaled up and skilled up to a level of where you can accept yourself.
How can people who are facing lots of difficulties can still dream to do great thing in their life?
Well, think of this isolated state as being a seed trapped in soil. You're about to emerge when this is over. You're going to germinate. You're going to grow. So don't see this time as a time of restriction. See this time as a time of literally isolation. You are in an isolated state for you to really pull in all the knowledge, exercise all the abilities, develop all the skills that you want to. They don't have to be perfect. I'm not saying you have to come out of isolation with these perfect skills, but just have enough seeds planted, understand exactly how you want to grow when you come out of this isolated state. How are you going to sprout out and germinate from the soil? Are you going to try and scramble back for a life that you once lived? Guaranteed, if you're not happy and comfortable in your isolated state, chances are the life you were living probably was quite, your state of isolation. Your home should reflect your beauty, your life, your blissful state. So if you can't sit in that, then that should show you that what you're doing in your life, what you bring, the energy you're connecting with, the energy around you, the energy that you're playing with in the world, is restricting you from sitting with yourself and existing in that isolated state. So take this as a moment to sit with yourself. Every single person in this world now has this opportunity to really consciously reset, to understand, okay, I can. It's like feeling like you're gonna be born again. You have these months. Like you were once in a womb. You are back in another metaphorical womb, and you're gonna come out of this another way.
Can you suggest a lifestyle change as well to live
Absolutely.
more joyful life?
Clothes. I mean, because we're in isolation, you got to think about like the things that you have with you. Clothes are one of my personal favorite things to play around with and to kind of help keep my spirits up and motivations up and to be productive. I really spend I only used to spend 15-20 minutes getting ready and away we go. But now I spend a good hour and a half picking out an outfit, ironing it, changing it, playing around it, wearing it in different ways. And these are the things that can help us stimulate the creativity and kind of help us kind of get through these states of being. Another thing is go online, YouTube. There's so many free courses and free resources online that you can utilize to help you, engage your mind, whether you want to read audiobooks listen to audiobooks, read books, learn new skills. There's a company called edX.org, which offer all these beautiful courses for free offered by these recognized institutions. And you can actually come out of isolation more qualified than you entered it. That's another route. Think of what your interests are and start thinking about, how can I make those interests more apparent in my life? Whether you want to make them your livelihood is up to you. But really start engaging the things that engage you. Start thinking about who you are as an individual and start feeding those curiosities. And once you start feeding those curiosities and start learning a little bit more about them, you start learning a little bit more about yourself. And as a result, you are now starting to really bust out of this seed and come into your own before this isolation is lifted.
In our life, is there any role of nature as well to be more blissful and more happy?
Absolutely. If you can somehow get a plant in your house. I've got some potting soil, and I'm going to grow some sage and lavender and some flowers on my deck. But more so, I think this is a prime opportunity to learn how to meditate. Meditation has been part of my life since I can remember. And when I meditate, I feel more connected to the earth than anything, because when you meditate, you start realizing you don't have to be sitting on the earth, the physical earth, like the soil, to be connected to it. You don't have to be surrounded by trees or birds and bees or whatever to be connected to nature. You are part of the exact same existence. You are nature itself. You are nature in manifest. So by sitting in meditation, or even just learning to play and connect with yourself, you can grow. You can be a part of it. You can see yourself as part of it. You're the most natural thing probably in your home if you don't have plants. So how are you going to play and grow yourself?
That's great. Can you tell a little bit about the food we need to be more healthy and mentally fresh?
Yes, food. I'm not a nutritionist, but in terms of food, or what I've been eating is I've been getting like a lot of dried fruit and nuts is definitely my go-to. I have jars full of nuts, sold pecans, almonds, walnuts. I have the odd cashews as well, but they're quite high in fat. And then lots of seeds like chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. You can get goji berries, dates are good. Loads of kind of dried fruit and nuts are really helpful because they hold a long preservation. So once you do your one trip to the store, you can gather as much of these as possible and pull them back. Fortunately, Indian food is incredible for isolation. You can buy so many ingredients, and they can last you like 3-4 months. I'm avoiding rice because I'm not as active as I was, so I'm really just sticking with my dana. And instead of having them with roti or any kind of bread, I have with a salad. So what I'll do is like I'll cut greens, onions, fresh greens, peppers, all of this stuff, put that, and then and use dal as the dressing. And yam, oh, it's my favorite thing. And then mix it up. And the nice thing about Indian food is you can just play with the variables, and you've got a whole new dish.
How can we develop our wisdom? Like, you have lots of knowledge, ideas, and you have been able to use it in your practical life. How can other people can do it?
Just start learning how to live. To start learning how to take care of yourself. Start learning what you need as an individual to be happy. That's all I started doing. There's nothing magical about me. There's nothing different about me and anyone else in this world. The only thing I'm doing is just living my life the best way I know how to live my life. And so what I do is, and you'll notice if you have my career, I'll started one thing and I was like, I'm bored of that now. I'm going to start another thing. I'm bored of that now. I'll do this thing because I want to sustain my growth. I want to sustain my development. I think it's important not to stick yourself in a box or label yourself in any specific way. For instance, in my life coaching career, there was so many opportunities. I could have done something very specific to make it like this big, massive, impactful, like, life coach. That's not me. I know who I am. And as a result, I do the things that may bring me joy. And just focusing on that my entire life has navigated me to, I suppose, quote unquote, the wisdom that I offer. And then it led me to go back into my meditations to deeper states, because it's like, I miss that part of me. I remember as a kid, I used to go outside. I used to love just looking at the moon and stars, just looking at them, not studying them, just looking. I used to absolutely love it. I used to remember when I was a kid, I used to pretend like I meditated on the moon, like I was sitting on the moon looking down at life. And I used to do my visualization as a kid whenever I was sad or depressed or feeling anxious. And so when I started reconnecting on meditation in my adult life, I looked at the moon and I was like, why did I lose this sense of ability? What happened for me to lose touch with my innate character? And I made a commitment that day when I saw the moon beaming down on this life that I created. I was like, no. I don't want to create a life for me. I want to create a life for life. I want to make sure that I'm bringing something out into the world that's exciting and fun. We all embody beautiful energies. We all have these incredible truths that only we can provide, because only we have the specific experience in life that can deliver it. The only difference between you and me is communication. I assure you, that is it. There's nothing else. It's just whatever is stored in our subconscious minds, whatever context that we have to draw onto, that is all that's different. Outside of that, everything's the same. So it's just about having the right knowledge which connects to your body and your being in life.
Nowadays, there are so many options and so many things that easily distracts our mind. Can you share what things do you accept and what things do you reject?
I think if there's nothing specific that you're working on, if there's nothing that you're really focused on doing, like, I mean, you're in isolation, how productive can one person be and how much do you want to be? My advice is to dive right in. As long as you're being entertained, as long as you're being engaged, go for it. But if you're scrolling aimlessly trying to find something and you're not finding it, don't go back to the same source. Go find another one and another one and another one and another one. You know, people are like, no, delete the apps, restrain. No. Download a ton more. Because at some point you're going to find something that's going to trigger that connection of truth. You're going to be like, I can do that. I can do that better. And then you're going to be doing the video, or you're going to be creating it, and you're going to be just getting into that state of being. So rather than trying to shove it all on the side, bring it all in as much as you can, but make sure it is engaging. Make sure what you're scrolling through is exciting and it's like, whoa, that's so much fun. You know, make sure that you feel enthused and fulfilled by the experience that you're having. Because most 9 times out of 10, the only thing that's making you feel as if like you're distracted or you're not being productive is everything on the outside. Society and people telling you that's not what you should be doing. Forget everybody else. Go dive in. Go be yourself. Go learn about who you are. Look at as many things as you possibly can. Engage your mind as much as you can. As stupid as it is, whatever content is, just engage your mind. Look for the truth. Look for yourself. Find yourself in the world, and it's like literally you're just sifting through. That's all it is. Swipe away.
Wow, that's wonderful. Can you share your daily routine?
This is why I love isolation. I do not get up early in the morning. Forget that. You know, we as a human species, like, we have created light in darkness. I can work in the night. I love working in the night. And I think it's more of a spiritual thing because when you think about the chakra system and stuff at night, you know, it's like a meditation. You can see so much more in the world. Nevertheless, my routine, it goes like this. I'll wake up whenever my body wants to wake up. That's the one. I let myself, there's no commitments outside of what I'm doing online. And because I'm scheduling everything on my time, I start scheduling everything after 12 o'clock. I like my mornings to myself. So I usually get up around, say, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, depending on the night before. And then as soon as I wake up in the morning, I call my parents. Do my toothbrush and all of that stuff, get ready. And getting ready is important. I think it's very, very important. And that's why I like to call my parents, because I know if I have to call them, I have to look presentable at least. Like this, so they don't worry that so it's kind of created like a little anchor. So get up, get ready, like get on a shirt, get on trousers, get ready, wear your best outfits. I wore a suit the other day just for fun. So get into your glad rags and feel good. Wash your body, feel good, feel fresh, feel happy. Then thirdly, I call my parents and my family, and we have this group chat every day. And after that, and we're flexible. I mean, we're in isolation. No one's sticking to a specific deadline. And then after that, I just basically go about my day, whatever I feel like, because I don't stop. The only thing I've got scheduled is any clients and any classes that I'm teaching and stuff like this, interviews and whatnot. But mainly I'm working around my creativity, my writing. I'm writing a book, and I thought, what better time? So everything I do in service for that creation. After calling my parents and writing my book, which I start usually around about 4:35 p.m. I like writing into the night. Everything in between is for clients, everything that I can schedule, and then anything in between that, cooking. If I have to do a run, I'll do a run to get food. Otherwise, I'll start planting or anything. Just basically fill my time between. Sometimes I'll just watch Netflix the entire time up until 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, it's book writing time. And I let myself do it because that's the time I've allocated and that's the time I want to allocate. And then once I get my book and I work my book up until probably 10, 11 at night. I've got to a rhythm where I can write a chapter a day. And then once I've finished that chapter, I get up and have a drink, or we're in Canada now, so cannabis is legal, so that's what we're doing. And I'll dance and I'll be creative, and because the next thing is the whole world is asleep to me, because it's night, so I'll put my earphones on and I'm just like just going for it, and I'm just dancing, and I'll change my clothes, I'll just have fun with it. And then I get really, really sweaty and gross, and that comes at my workout too. Then I'll jump in the shower and then go to bed. It's a brilliant little routine, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But I didn't come up with this like thinking about it. I just started doing the things that were mentioned earlier. I just started being myself, and then let that take over. That's how I discovered I want to write the book. That's how I discovered, if I schedule everything in this little slot, I'll be free to do whatever I want after it, and to forgive myself all the things I want to do. So that's my routine.
And can you mention the services you provide?
Mm-hmm. So right now I have coaching services. So I coach online sessions. Those are booked through my website, lifecoachterry.com. And I offer online personal meditations too. So with the personal meditations, what I offer is, it's not like you're going to sit and you're going to learn meditation, though you will learn meditation. We look at the mental difficulties that you're dealing with, and we create a meditation around that so that you can eliminate it. And then once you eliminate that specific problem in your mind, okay, then we advance the meditation and grow the technique so you can work on the next thing. Because meditation, you're working with the variables of your mind, so you really have to cater your meditation to work with what's going on, to be able to detach and let go. So my meditation things that I'm offering, and my life coaching sessions. Outside of that, I'm open. If someone wants to collaborate, I'm more than happy to do so. I started offering private group sessions, and there's these events that people hire me just to be a part of their kind of group, and then we just kind of have this rift and conversation with the whole group, and everyone chips in for the rate. And so what I'll do, whether it's a group or an individual, because my rates are quite high, only because the demand is so high, is, let's say if there's like 20 of you that want to chip in and want to bring me into the conversation, then you chip in, and you only have to pay for like a 1 hour session, and then we get the whole group in, and we just get talking and motivating each other and pumping each other up. And because I'm a neutral party in the group, I can get away with saying stuff like, okay, come on, show up a little bit more. You're falling behind in terms of this conversation, contribute. And it's just a nice little service that I don't really advertise. I just share with the likes of situations like this.
How can people contact you to get your service?
Just email me is the best way. info@tsidhu.com. It's straightforward as that. Or you can go to one of my websites and fill in a contact form. But yeah, info@tsidhu.com. That's info@t, S for sugar, idhu.com. And yeah, just shoot me an email and we go from there. It's as simple as that.
Thank you, Terry, for giving your valuable time and for sharing ideas and wisdom. I believe we will really learn and progress in our life listening you. Thank you.
I hope so, because I want to learn some new things too.